I'm just sitting here, I got time. It's clear to see from up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. You and me were meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. You and me, meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free.
Greetings, Glitter Gang. Happy Thursday. How are you all doing this afternoon? Today is the last day, probably, hopefully, fingers crossed, of Christmas in July. So we're going to be working on the box. We finished all of the inserts last week. So this week we're going to be working on the box, and specifically in this video we're going to be doing the planning for the box, and then I'll do a recording break, and then we'll do the construction of the box, and then probably we'll do another recording break and do the decorating. Before I get into that, I just have a couple quick announcements. First off, it's pouring down rain, thunder and lightning. We have multiple storms moving through our area. So we've already lost power once today, so there's totally a possibility that I may lose power again. Hopefully we won't. Fingers crossed that we won't, and everything will be fine. We don't lose power as much in this house as we did in the last house, so I'm thinking this area might be just a little bit more stable, or the power lines might be better protected. However, you know, just so you know, we have already lost power once today. So, you know, it's a possibility. So if I suddenly disappear, that's what happened. I'll post in the Facebook group what the status is, but that's what happened. And then the other thing I want to mention is the changes to YouTube's mid-roll ad policy, and how it affects channels and how it affects you, and that sort of thing. So if you don't know, at the end of July, YouTube made the decision that any video on the platform that was monetized and that was over 8 minutes would have mid-roll ads added. and that the default monetization status of every video uploaded would be mid-roll ads. So those are the ads that appear in the middle of a video. Now, YouTubers are able to go back and change that back to however they had their channel set, which I have done. So I set my channel default to not having mid-roll ads, and I went back and turned the mid-roll ads off on every video that I've done. I had to go, I mean, going back to 2009, it took me a couple weeks, but I did it because it's just my preference not to have mid-roll ads on my channel. But I just want to let you know that this is something YouTube did to us. We didn't have a choice. It was not opt-in. It was not opt-out. They just unilaterally made the decision that they were going to apply this change to all channels and all videos on those on all channels. So if all of a sudden you're seeing a ton of ads, don't get mad at creators. It's not something that we did. You know, it's not something we asked for. It was something that was done to us, and not everyone knows how to fix it or how to change it or whatever. So it's going to take everyone a little bit of time to catch up. So please just have some patience. And then the other thing is, if you have ever considered having YouTube Premium, I mean, and that's in your budget. I have YouTube Premium, so I get no ads on YouTube. With YouTube Premium, you also get YouTube Music, which is like Spotify, basically. And it is totally worth it to me to not have ads. So if you have it, then, you know, if you've been on the fence about it, I would recommend checking it out. If you want to help creators get more money from YouTube Premium than they do from ads. So it actually helps creators more than YouTube Premium. That's not the only reason to do it. But if you sit through ads because you like helping the creators that you support, which creators so appreciate that, you know, YouTube Premium will give them the same or additional support, and you don't have to sit through ads. Again, if it's in your budget, check it out. How much is it? We have a family plan, and I know the family plan is $15.99. I don't know how much the non-family plan is, but you can have 5 or 6 people or something like that on a family plan. So let me see how much it is. Google, how much is YouTube Premium? How much is YouTube Premium? It's $11.99 a month. It includes ad-free video, the option to play videos or music in the background while using other apps, to download music and videos, and gives you access to the YouTube original movies and TV shows. So, and yeah, it includes and it also includes YouTube Music Premium, which is $9.99 a month. So YouTube Premium also includes YouTube Music, which I thought. And YouTube Music is like Spotify or Apple Music or something like that. It's got music playlists, music videos, remixes, you know, and it's all ad-free, of course. So like I said, if you watch a lot of YouTube, then I've had it for years. I haven't seen an ad on YouTube since probably 2016 or 2015, and I find it to be very worth it. I have the family plan, which is $15.99. And so Mr. Lifeguard, he loves YouTube Music as well. So just look into it. The reason I recommend looking into that is because it seems clear to me, based on this latest move, the direction that YouTube wants to go in, which is to be kind of like more like traditional television, having commercials and things like that. And while we did have the option this time to go back and get rid of all those mid-roll ads and change our channel default back to not having mid-roll ads, it's conceivable that in the future that's not going to be an option, and we just have to have whatever kind of ads YouTube wants us to have on our channels. So, you know, just be aware that if you feel like you're seeing a ton of ads all of a sudden on YouTube, That's why. And if you want to do something about that, I do recommend YouTube Premium. I know it costs money and I know it's not in everyone's budget, but if it is in your budget, it does totally work. And it's like there's no ads. It's such a peaceful experience to watch YouTube with no ads. And on top of that, it is still giving money to creators. In fact, a lot of creators get more money from YouTube Premium than they get from ads. So it's not hurting creators at all for you. If that's something that you prioritize, is helping creators, it's not hurting creators at all to go to YouTube Premium. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you've seen a lot of ads recently, that's why. I'm sure every creator is going to have their own approach to how they deal with it. But I think I got all of my YouTube videos back to the way they were before the change. And hopefully things will settle down. I think the biggest thing is, you know, they put so many ads. Like I had to log out of YouTube and watch one of my videos logged out because, see, I don't have ads, so I don't know. And it was like videos every couple minutes, or ads every couple minutes. It was a lot. So anyways, so that's just what's going on. Just an update. So no big deal. You know, it'll all work out. But if you have it in your budget, and especially if you already have something like Spotify, then, you know, maybe look into YouTube Music versus Spotify, because you might be able to, I don't know what Spotify costs, but if Spotify costs like $10 a month, for $2 more a month, you could have YouTube Music, which is very similar to Spotify, and no ads on YouTube. All right, now let's go with the, well, hello. Oh, let's do, well, maybe I should break this off into its own video. I'm going to break this off into its own video. Hold on. So that's just this announcement. So I'm going to break this off into an announcement, and then I'll start a new video for the planning. So I'll be right back. Greetings, Glitter Gang. It's Thursday, August 20th. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Today we're going to be doing the planning for the box that holds all the inserts we've been making for the Pouchalope album. So let's just say hi to everybody first, because I jumped right into announcements in the last video, so I didn't say hi to everybody. So hello to everyone. Hi to Donna Jett and Donna in Atlanta. Two Donnas first in the chat today. Carol Joan, hello. Yay, it's Thursday. Sandra says hello, Glitter Gang, and she just posted in the Facebook group her Tea for 3 album. Good afternoon, everyone, says Beverly Oliver. Hi, Bev. Howdy to Barbara Jean and to Brenda. Hi, Kimberly. Anne was early. Hello, Anne. Welcome. Priya says happy glittery Thursday, everyone. Good afternoon, Goddesses of Glitter, from Candy. Hi. Vicky, hello. Deb, good afternoon. Mary, happy Thursday. Catherine, hi, how are you? Judy Webb says hi. Pat is here. Melanie, hello. Joyce, how's it going? Jolly Palette is here live for the first time. Welcome. B&D Crafts and More. Hello. And Spotify is $9.99 a month. Okay, so if you're paying $9.99 a month for Spotify, look into YouTube Premium. It's $2 more and you get YouTube Music. And YouTube Music is very similar to Spotify. So, and there's probably a free trial. You can test it out, see if it's for you. But essentially, if you're already paying for Spotify, you might be able to switch to YouTube Music and get some of the same stuff from YouTube Music that you like from Spotify. Well, switch to YouTube Premium, which includes YouTube Music. YouTube Music is not going to take the ads off. So it's an additional $2 to take the ads off. So it's $10 for YouTube Music, which is like Spotify. music playlist, music in the background while you work, that sort of thing. And then for $2 more, you can get YouTube Premium, which takes the ads off YouTube videos, as well as gives you access to their original TV shows like that Cobra Kai show that I watched and that sort of thing. So yeah, if you have Pandora, that's another internet radio. If you have Pandora, look into just research YouTube Premium, take the free trial if they have it. If you're already paying for music, it may also give you the quality of life improvement of not having to watch ads on YouTube. And again, YouTube creators typically get more money from YouTube Premium than they do from you watching the ads. So you are not hurting creators at all if you make this switch, if that's something you're concerned about. So don't worry about that. Okay. All right, here we go. Christmas in July. So let us think about what we have to do. So I'm going to make like a shoebox type box, just like a box with a lid, you know. So let's figure out what our dimensions kind of need to be. So if I let these kind of like fluff out, they're 4 inches if they're like fluffed. And the idea is that we want to stuff them with letters and stuff. We want to stuff them with stuff. This has been Thesaurus with Kathryn. So we want to be able to put all our Christmas letters and our Christmas photos and our Christmas cards in with them. So I'm thinking we need to add at least another inch. The box should be 5 inches. But we could add 2 inches. And then you could just put cards that won't fit in these in the box maybe. So that's the question. Do we want to make it a little bit bigger? Fluff and stuff. Do we want to make it a little bit bigger or a lot a bit bigger? Let me show you how deep the slant will be if it's 2 inches. Oh, that's not bad at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make it 6 inches. That's not that deep of a slant. It's barely half an inch down from the top. So extra room, better than not enough room. So that we now know that one of our box measurements is 6 inches. That's from front to back, or the depth. So now we just have to figure out how high we want to make it and how wide we want to make it. Those measurements are a little bit easier because we're going to go off the size of the pouch loops. So the pouch loops are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So just basically, they're not quite 7, so I'm going to make it 7 inches tall. And then widthwise, they're very tightly 9. So let's make it 9.5. That way we have some wiggle room side to side, but they're pretty much 9. I think they are 8 and 7/8 actually. So we'll make them 9.5. That way we don't have to worry with 8s. Okay. So now that we have our measurements, we don't need our pouch loops for the time being. So let's talk about how we take this measurement and we turn it into a box. And so for starters, we need 2 pieces that are this size, 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 okay? So the front and the back will be the height by the width, all right? So we need 2, and this is chipboard. So we need 2 chips that are 7 by 9.5. This is the front plus back. And then we need 2 chips that are 7.5 by 6. So we need 2 that are 7 by 6. That's the sides, okay? I'm just going to do like a shoebox type lid. So we're going to have to figure out the measurements for that as well. So there's 2 that are 6. That's the front. That's the sides. And then we need the bottom. And the bottom is these 2. The width and the depth. The width and the depth. And there's just one bottom. So 9.5 by 6. Okay. So when you have calculated your dimensions of your box, you need 2 that are the height plus the width, 2 that are the height plus the depth, and 1 that's the width plus the depth. That's the bottom. If you were going to do a flap on top instead of a lid, you would make 2 of these. Or you might make it like a little bit longer than 6, you know. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do a whole separate lid. Whole separate lid. Okay. Lids are easy. You just got to make them ever so slightly bigger. So instead of the bottom piece being 9.5 by 6, it would be 9 3/8 by 6 1/8. Okay. It doesn't have to be, it's not, don't complicate it. 9 3/8 by 6. And this is the top. And then you just have to figure out the sides. And the sides are 9 3/8 and 6. You need 2 of each, right? Plus whatever depth you want them to hang down over the box. So in our case, we'll make 1.5. So it's 1.5, 1.5 for both of them. 1 times 9 3/8, and 1 times 6 1/8. And that's it. That's it. That's, so there, take your screenshot. Okay, take your screenshot because those are your measurements for your lid. And we're going to need some cardstock and stuff, but don't worry about that right now. All right. Not hard, not hard. So here's what the box, it's this type of box. Okay, it's going to be like that. Yeah, that's the kind of box it is. This is my very accurate 2-scale drawing. Because the top has to be 1/8 of an inch bigger than the bottom, which is what this one is, bottom. So once you have your box measurements, you calculate your lid measurements off the bottom. And the top of the box is just the bottom plus 1/8. That's it. Wouldn't it be 9 5/8? Oh yeah, it would be 9 5/8. Look, I've never claimed to be good at math. It would be 9 5/8 because 1/2 plus 1/8 is 5/8. All right. So 9 5/8. Does that look like a 5? It's fine. It's 9 5/8 plus 6 1/8 for the top. All right. Now all we have to do is cut all these pieces. Cutting chipboard. Do I have chipboard? Ooh. Oh, yeah. Okay, I do. Whew. So I keep like running super low on chipboard, and I keep getting lower and lower on chipboard, and I keep saying to myself, you need to order chipboard, and then not doing it. Just another day. Just another day. Here, I'm going to bring the rototrim over so you can see how easily it cuts chipboard, because that's a question I get a lot. I'm going to put my measurements up. Okay, so 7 by 9.5. And I'm cutting everything a little bit bigger on the first 2 cuts so that I can then cut it and be square, because this particular chipboard is not square. And chipboard rarely is. It's even worse than paper. So rather than cut it twice, do 1 cut for 7 and 1 cut for 9.5, I cut it 4 times. 7 1/4, 9 3/4, 7, 9.5. That way I've cut every side and I know it's square. So that's it. So I need 2 of those. So here's what I mean. So I'm going to make the first cut at 7 1/4. It doesn't have to be exactly 7 1/4. Okay. And 7 3/4. Again, it doesn't have to be 7 3/4. And then I can do 7 and 9.5. I have the this, oh, you can't see it. I have the M15. I have the M15. All right, so these are 9.5 by what, 7? Is that what I said? Yeah. Okay. And then we do the 7 by 6 next. And for these, I'm going to cut a 12 by 12 and I'm going to try to use my body weight to make it square. So, because I'd like to be able to get both of them out of one sheet of chipboard. So what I do is this piece of chipboard is actually very straight. So I'm not going to have to do it. But what I would do is I line up the edge with the line on my rototrim so that maybe it's not flush against the top here. I want it straight with the line, and then I lean my whole body weight through my shoulder and then I cut. And that will keep it, that'll straighten up the side, and then I can cut it at 6 inches. And then this one I'll just check to see if it's 6 inches. Sometimes it's like a little longer or shorter depending. In this case, it's pretty much just right. Okay, so these are, they're going to go in it like this, and they're going to be 6 inches by 7 inches. 6 inches by 7 inches. So those are the sides. And then we need one piece for the bottom, which is the 9.5 by 6. So I'm going to use one of these, and I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. So I'm going to cut it to like 6 1/4. And 9 3/8, so that I can then cut it at 6 and 9.5, and it'll be very straight. Okay. All right. So then this is 9.5 by 6. And this one I'm going to put, it's the base, because I don't want to accidentally use it for a side. Okay. All right, so these are the box pieces cut. It's that easy. All right, now let's go through here and see how many of these pieces we can use. That's big enough. That's big enough. These are all too small, right? Yeah. Okay, so these are recycling. All right, so this is 5 inches, so it's big enough to get 3 sides of our lid from this one piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to 9 3/8. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to 9 5/8. This one also has to be 5/8. All right, so I'm just going to cut it at 10, and then I'll cut it down to 9 5/8. Okay, then we're going to cut it at, this piece just happens to be 5 inches, so I'm going to cut it at, you know what, I'm going to cut this with my scissors. Not my scissors, my rotary trimmer. The one thing the rotary trim is not good for, I mention this all the time, is cutting like small pieces into small pieces, because you see here, that's 1.5 right there, so I have to like hold it at 1.5. So I could cut off, it starts at 5, so I could cut it, here, let me just swap it. Okay, yeah, it's pretty much exactly 5, so I could cut it at 4.5, and that would be 1.5 inches. But that's pretty much the last cut I'm going to get out of it, because down from 4.5 is 2, and the 2 even is a little bit hard because most of it, as you can see, is not braced. So this is like the one kind of like area of weakness that the Rototrim has. I got it anyway, but with this one, yeah, I'm losing some of my measuring lines. This trimmer's old. Got it in fall of 2008. Okay, so this one I'm going to cut to 6 1/8. Ooh, nope. And this one I'm going to cut to 6 1/8. And then I'll use my rotary trimmer and its blade to cut these two down to 1.5. So those still have to get cut again. And then we just need one more, and that's for the top. 9 5/8 by 6 1/8. Same deal as before. I'm going to cut it at like 6.5, 10. Again, you don't have to be exact. You just have to be bigger than 6. Then 9 5/8. All right. Done. Now, I don't know where this came from. Okay, let's take this away. Put it back where it normally lives. So these I've got to cut down to 1.5. And I'm going to use my rotary trimmer for this. And you're just going to have to make a few passes until it just kind of flies off to the side, then you know you're done. Hi, tiny buddy. Did I disturb your nap? I'm sorry. Tiny cat was napping in her little box when I got up here. All right. So this is the lid. So we've got 9 5/8 by 6 1/8. And then these are 6 1/8 by 1.5. 6 1/8 by 1.5. Okay. 9 5/8 by 1.5. 9 5/8 by 1.5. Okay, and these are all the lid pieces. All right, so we've got all of our chipboards cut. Easy peasy. All right, so I'm just gonna lay them all out on the desk so you can take a screenshot of all of the pieces that you need. for the box and the lid. All right, so there they all are. So I'm gonna leave this up for a few seconds so you can take a screenshot. Remember that this will be both in the archives and on YouTube. So, you know, if you're on YouTube or watching on YouTube or in the archives, you can just, you know, pause and take a screenshot. All right, so that is the planning and the diagram, the beautiful diagram of the box, and then all of the pieces laid out here. These 5 pieces, these 5 pieces are the base. These 5 pieces are the lid. If you've done it right, you'll have 10 pieces. So what I'm going to do now is that's going to be it for this video. This is going to be the how to plan a box, and in the next video I'll show you how to do construction of a box. So I'm going to do a recording break here. I'll be back in another video and show you how to put it all together. Greetings, Glitter Gang. It's Thursday, August 20th. We are continuing on with the box for the Pouchalope Christmas in July project. These are all the pieces that you need to do the box construction, which is what we're going to be doing in this video, at least for, these are the pieces you need that are chipboard. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put them all together with cardstock strips so that you can make a box. So we're going to start with the base, and I'm going to show you my easy cheater lazy way to make boxes, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how we're gonna stick them all together. Okay, so this is how we're gonna stick them all together. Right? And so because of this, I now can calculate, let's see if we can get them all. There we go. I now can calculate how many pieces I need of the cardstocks. So I need a cardstock piece anywhere there's a joint. So I need 1, because this is a joint. 1, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 4 that are 7 inches, okay? Because this is 7, this is the height. 1, 2, 3, 4, not 5, because this and this are 1. They're going to connect to each other, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 that are 7 inches. Here, I'm just going to write this here. And when I say I need 4 that are 7 inches, they're all 2 inches wide, okay? They're all going to be 2 inches wide, so you don't need to write that over and over again. Okay, and here, let me just do at so that you know that it's 4 that are 7 inches. Okay. Then we need to calculate the rest of them. So we have 1 joint here, 1 joint here. So this and this, these are a joint, right? Wait, are they a joint? No. This one and this one are a joint. Doesn't matter. It's the same measurement, but these 2 are a joint. These 2 are a joint. So this is 1, 2, 3. Okay, so those are your 3 joints, and 4. So you have 1, 2 that are 9.5. 1, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Those are 9.5. So you have 2 at 9.5. And then we have 6 and 6, 6 and 6. These 2 are 6. So 2 that are 6. So those are all the strips that you need. Okay. So they're all 2 inches. All right. So there's a total of 8 of them, which means we need 16 inches. So it's going to take us 2 sheets of cardstock. So we're going to use 2 sheets of cardstock for this. And we need 4 that are 7, 2 that are 9.5, 2 that are 6. Okay? Easy. 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 I'm going to make them out of black so it's easier to see them. And we're going to start with, I'm just going to use the Fiskars trimmer because it's not a big deal if these are straight. I'm actually going to pre-score them. So I'm going to score at 1 inch and then at every odd. So 1, 3, 5, you know, all the odds. Boxes, there's 2 ways to make boxes. There's the like harder good way, and then there's the good enough way. I prefer myself the good enough way. Okay. Oh, the monorail. See, I don't know about the monorail Rototrim. I recommend the professional line, which is the ones with the M for master cut, and it's that's the double rail. And I just like the double rail because I know it's totally straight. That the carriage isn't swinging back and forth on the rail. So it's not that I have tried the solo rail or the monorail and I don't recommend it. It's just that I don't recommend it because I don't know if it works. Okay, now. We're going to put the tape on the mountain side. And how do I want to do the tape? I'll just use 1 inch. So yeah, I don't know if the how the monorail is. Tape right by the score line, you know the drill. Oh, Joy said she couldn't get the monorail to work, so maybe it's not as good. You can see that the tape is overlapping. Not a big deal. Not a big deal. I guess I could have just run the 2-inch one down the middle now that I'm doing the last one. All right. Okay, so I'm just gonna burnish all the tape at once. Flip it around, burnish it again. I'm gonna trim off the edges. Just so I don't have tape flapping around in the breeze. Okay, now we'll get out the Fiskars trimmer. So these get cut you know, every 2 inches. We need 8 that are, where's my little sheet? Oh, I didn't write it on a sheet. I wrote it on a thing. Okay. So we need 4 strips that are 7 inches. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this at 8 inches. And then I'm going to cut this at 7 inches. And then I'm going to cut this every 2 inches, so 6, 4, 2, whatever. And then that's going to make them, there we go. All right, so these are all the 2x7s. All right, so I have this piece, which is 5 inches. So I can get my, can I get anything useful out of this? Maybe. So these two need to be 9.5. Let's cut them. And then I'm going to cut them in half just at 2. Okay, so these are the two 9.5. Now, this is 5. I have 4 that are 5 inches. So what I'm going to do is, I need it to be 6. But I need 2 that are 6. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it to 3, and I'll just use 2. Okay? So I'll just use 2 of these. On each one. And that'll get me there without having to cut another sheet. Okay. Now, these are scraps. Just going to save them in case I need them. At this point, I can angle these away from the corners if I want to. I'm not really that worried about it. So let's line everybody up again. And then I'll place these all so you can see where they are going to go. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. So this is how it goes once again. So we've got one here and one here. We've got one here, one here, one here, one here. Okay. And then these little guys, they just go, the half and halvesies, they just go here. Okay. And then miraculously, we'll just go foomp, and we'll fold it all together. Okay. You're like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I believe that. Trust me. All right, so we're just going to go one at a time. Line the edge of the cardstock up with the edge of the chipboard, okay? All right. Check to see if you have any hanging over, and if you do, get rid of it. Okay. Then, once you've got it all nice and trim, peel the tape on the other one, and then this is where we're going to go against conventional box wisdom, okay? We're going rogue. conventional box wisdom would say you need to leave a gap in between the two pieces of chipboard so that you can, you know, fold them and there's a hinge and everyone has room to breathe and the paper's not going to tear and all that. We're going to do the opposite. We're going to put them exactly totally flush. So what you're doing is you're lining the chipboards flush with each other, okay? Like push the chipboards together, then press this over. Okay? So you see how they're like this? So instead of doing a normal box, we're going to turn our box inside out so that the gaps will be on the outside, and then we'll just cover those with strips of paper and no one will know. It's no big deal. I promise you. This is like so much easier. Okay? So much easier way to make a box. All right, now. So instead of in a normal box, when we fold it, you fold it around like this. And then this gap between the chips is on the inside. Okay, and it's nicer. Whatever. We don't care about nicer around these parts, do we? We care about easy. Now, same thing. Just go to the next piece. Line the edge of the cardstock up. Check to see if anything's poking out. If it is, cut it off. All right. Once you've cut it off, line the two chipboards up. Get them perfectly straight, pressed against each other. Peel your tape first. Hi, Shaka. How are you? Yes, present Kathryn is here. Fold it over. Press it down. Burnish. Burnish. Okay. And then I'm going to move this one and all of its little chips. Just move it to the side for a secco. Okay. Just keep going. Just keep going. Check and see if you have poking out. If you do, cut it off. Okay. Peel the tape. Push them together. Line them up. Press it over. Burnish. Burnish. Fold it back. Check for poking. There's no poking. Last one. Peel the tape. Ah! Stab myself. Stab myself under the nail with the tape. Didn't enjoy it. 0 out of 10. Would not recommend. Check for overlap and cut it off. There we go. And burnish. So this one is stuck to nothing because this one, look, goes like this. Oh my gosh, look. I said it would just be like foomp, and there's a box. So look at your box. We didn't have to put like a bumper in between the chipboards and angle this and angle that. You know, all of the things that go into a quality artisanal box, we didn't do them. We didn't do them. This is not a quality artisanal box. But you know what? By the time we're done, it'll look like one, so who cares? Who cares? All right. Now, I'm going to set this whole thing to the side. Yeah, you just lay it flat to connect it. Okay, we're going to set this whole thing to the side, and we're going to do the bottom. I am going to angle these ones just because I might as well not be. I'll just show you. I'll just I'll angle these ones so you can see how you can angle them if you want or not, whatever. If you do choose to angle them, do 45 degrees. Ooh, that's not wrong. Wrong 45 though. I mean yeah. See, I knew I shouldn't have gotten fancy. This is what I get for trying to make a professional box. It is past Kathryn's fault. She's always getting me. I only need to do one side of these because if you remember, they're, you know, pieced together. Okay, so with this one, I mean, I could cut a new one, but instead, remember these that we didn't throw away just in case? Guess what? They have a purpose now. All right, so this one's what? This one's 2.5, and this needs to be 9.5. So I'm going to cut this one to 7. Wait, it's not 9.5 though. Oh no, it is. Okay. Ta-da! I'm going to stick those two on top of each other so I know that they go together. Okay, so now we've got all those cut. See, I tried to be professional. I tried to be good, and look what happened to me. All right. So peel your tape and then put the point in the corner and line it up with the edge. Put the point in the corner, line it up with the edge. How long have I been hiding the corner miter tool? Look, I haven't been hiding it. It's controversial. Some people it works for and some people it doesn't. So I don't know about it. It causes some people problems. But technically what it's for is for mitering quarter round for putting on a wood floor. For trimming out a wood floor. So look for it in the hardware store. Yeah, I mean, it's supposed to be chopping through wood. I think the paper is too thin for it, is what the issue is. So you kind of have to give it a squeeze. And some of them come with removable blades. Mine doesn't have a removable blade. I do recommend that you do the removable blades. All right. So this just keeps your corners from getting bulky, but this is on the bottom, so who cares? It's not like it's on the inside, so who cares? Who cares? No one. Okay. That's who. 0 people. But if you want to get fancy and miter, this is how you would do it. Okay, there you go. Now, that's the base. Oh no, I guess this is on the inside. Never mind. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Okay. All right, now that we're here and we have the base looks like this. Now we can get back our little thing. So this is how the box goes together. Are you ready? I mean, I don't know what else to say. 20 minutes. That's what it took to make this box. Ta-da. Look at that. Look how easy. All right, so first thing, we're going to peel the tape. And you're going to bump, you got to line the base up with the chipboard for one of the sides, doesn't matter which one, and then just, you know, press it over, same as before. Okay? And then that's the last one you can, that's the last one you can do just by itself once. All the rest of them have to happen all at the same time. So you've got to peel the tape off every single remaining flap. So the 3 remaining flaps on the box and the one on the side. Got to get them all. Okay, now, this is not hard. Do not worry. Press down with your non-hand on the base, and then as you swing this one in, push down with your hand and so that it's flush with your desk, and then use the fingers of your non-hand to push the sides up. If you don't have a non-hand, you can't make this. So I don't know what to tell you. Okay, you can't make it. Then turn it around, press down on this with the fingers of your non-handed hand, and with your handed hand, press down. You want to be pushing this down against your desk, and then just push the side up with your non-handed hand. Then flip it over and burnish. Okay? These two happen at the same side, same time. Your non-dominant hand. There you go. So this one is, you're going to push down on the 2 sides from the top. Not like crazy, but, and then line this up. Line this up, push it in, and then you can stick your hand in and press it. Okay, so now you have a box. Grab your pet's hand. Yeah, if you don't have a non-hand, grab your pet's hand, or a child's hand, or a husband's hand, or whatever, not whatever, whoever might, you know, or put a bacon press in it. Put a bacon press in it. Okay, now we have the box. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's how we make, that's it. So what we're going to do is we will make this look nicer by putting strips on the outside to cover these gaps, but they're not that bad, as you can see. So I have one side that's pretty crooked. You can see this side is crooked. You won't even notice that. It looks so deep, doesn't it? Let's put our peeps in. Let's put in our peeps. Wouldn't it be horrible if they didn't fit? That would be bad. So there they are. So now we can just flip. Oh, look, it functions as planned. We just flip through our box of goodies, see all our letters from our friends, all our Christmas cards, whatever. There we go. Look at that. Yeah. I'm going to take these out. Pouch loops. Does it have to be a non-foot if you use your foot? Yeah, it should be your non-foot foot. Should be your non-foot foot. Because if you try to use your foot that's on the same side as your hand, then you're going to be doing like a twister move, you know, and that's just very awkward. So you would want to use your non-foot foot for sure. All right. And by non-hand, I do mean non-dominant hand, which is if you're right-handed, that's your left hand. If you're left-handed, that's your right hand. All right. So we made the base. We're going to make the lid now. And the lid is the same. It's the exact same process, okay? It's just that the pieces are smaller, right? Just that the pieces are smaller. But we're still gonna you know, just bump them all up next to each other. And you might have a situation like I have here where, I don't know, let me show you. See how this is flush on the bottom, but like way taller on top? We'll address this when, unless you're ambidextrous, then use your nose. Yes. And when in doubt, just put your cat on it, your turtle, your pet rock, whatever. Okay. So now we're going to do this one. And we need 2 of this and 2 of this, and that's it. Okay? And then 1, 2, 3, 4 of this. So we need 4 that are 1.5. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We need 2 that are 9 5/8 for here and here. And we need 2 that are 6 1/8 for the sides. So those are your strips. Easy. Easy peasy. Squeezy. The lemony. Okay. I'm going to drink water because I'm like... How come we never have fun here? How come this is such a serious show? How come for serious artists only? We only need to make 4 strips, which is 8 inches. Because I'm pretty sure we can get those 1/2 inch pieces off the sides. Okay, so start by scoring on the odds. 1, 3, 5, and 7. So if you need 4 strips, cut it to 8 inches. You know, you need twice as many inches as you have strips. And then you score them on the odds. Oh, Tiny Cat, I'm sorry. She's glaring at me and groaning because I think I am being too loud and disturbing her nap. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Princess. Princess Tiny. My apologies, Your Highness. She's falling asleep again. Tape goes on the mountain. Okay, and then yeah, only ASMR. No talking. I guess, like, I don't know what I gotta do to get some privacy in this house. Yeah. I'm in my apartment, my little studio apartment. Okay. So this time we're going to cut at 4 inches and then cut at 9 5/8. And I'm going to cut a 1/16 of an inch short. So, because last time I had to trim every single one of them. So I'm just going to cut short a 1/16 of an inch, and that way hopefully I won't have to trim these. And then cut them apart at 2, and you've got your 2 flaps. So these are the 9 5/8. Then we need, with our remaining 2 inches, we need 6 1/8. And again, I'm going to cut that a 1/16 of an inch short. And then we'll cut that in half at 2. Those go there. And then we need 4 that are 1 1/2. And again, I'm going to cut those a 1/16 of an inch short. 1, 2, 3, 4. Cut it 2 and 2. All right. Keep our scraps in case of catastrophe. And now we stick everyone together. Okay. Press it down with the bone folder that is missing, whatever. Then stick one of these next to it, butt them up, flatten it out. And you see how they're aligned on the bottom, but on the top they're not the same. Okay. It's under the, oh, here it is. Thanks. Line this up with the edge. Line up the chipboard. Press it flat. Wait, what are you doing? Okay. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line my ruler up with the two chipboards that are a little bit short. And I'm going to cut off the little bit of excess on the one that's a little bit long. And then they'll be straight. Okay. So we've got those. And now we just do the same thing on the sides. And now this one's too long. Apparently I was just doing whatever felt right. So let me show you how you would deal with that. Is you would fold this back so you can trim it. So I'm going to stick it. I really hope I'm not going to get done and this lid isn't going to fit because my cutting was like deranged. But I have a feeling. Oh man, that is so much. And whatever, it's fine. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to proceed. I'm peeling the tape from both sides at the same time because that's how I can see. This is too long. Are you not 6 1/8? You're not, you're 6. You're the problem. All right, since I already put the sides on, I don't want to have to cut all of this again and start over. But obviously this can't be 6 inches instead of 6 1/8 inches or else it won't fit. So how would I fix that? You might ask. I'll show you how I would fix that. I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to cut a piece of lightweight chipboard, the size that this is supposed to be. Okay, if I have any lightweight chipboard, how do I not have any lightweight chipboard? That is not possible. What on earth? Okay. I'm going to cut a piece of cardstock the size this is supposed to be. Okay. So this is 6 1/8 by 9 5/8. Now, oh, hello, Grumpy. No, you're right. You're right. This is in your way. I'm sorry. Are you gonna come say hi to your friends? Hi. Oh, flop. Hi. How's it going? Okay. So I have tape all the way around the outside of my cardstock, and now I'm just going to run a 1-inch line of tape. Well, my drawer is open that I keep my rotary trimmer and rulers in. And if you know anything about cats, anytime there's a drawer that's usually opened or a drawer that's usually closed that's opened, they have to check it out. Or like a cabinet door that's usually closed, if it opens, they've got to go check it out. You know, they always kind of want to know like what's in stuff or behind stuff. So the opportunity to check that drawer out was more enticing than the scritches, because she can get scritches whenever. All right. So I'm going to just line this up with the cardstock. Oops. Peel the tape on the cardstock off. I wonder if it would have been faster just to remake the whole thing. Whatever, it's fine. Okay. So now it's the correct size. All right, now let's get back to putting the sides on it. So you see it has this little channel running down it. Once we've got all the sides on, the side pieces on, and like the decorative paper and all of that, it'll be strong enough that it's not gonna bend there and break there. Okay. All right, now okay. So we just have to do the sides, but I'm just gonna make sure that this will fit. Looks like it. Okay. Now, if you want the corners to look fancy like you mitered them, but without actually having to miter them, you can try cutting through just this top layer of cardstock and pulling it off. Do this before you burnish though. But you can make it look, you know, fancier if you want. All right, there we go. So after the fact, you can give it that fancy look. Like you really worked hard the whole time. Okay, now, just gonna put our sides on. Almost done. All right, and again, if you want to miter the corners, you can. Otherwise, we're just gonna pull the sides up. And press. And just line the sides up with each other. And then once you've lined them up, you can go in and burnish them. And you might have an area where you've got something poking up. Right there I do. So I'm gonna cut that off, and I am gonna cut towards myself because it's just easier. Go slow and don't stab yourself in the chest. All right, that's it. Lid's done. Lid's done. Moment of truth. Oh dear. Oh no, we're fine. We're fine. We're fine. We did it. We made a box with a lid. What the heck? What the heck? We did it. We survived. We survived making a box with a lid. Now, what do we need to do? I guess decorate it. I guess we'll decorate it. All right, now. Am I leaving the interior naked chipboard? No. Okay, so what we have to do now is we have to decorate this. We have to make it look cute. There's a few things that have to happen. We have to smooth out the edges of the, because these edges are raw and stuff is catching. So we have to smooth everything out on the lid and on the base so that they slide onto each other easier. So that's one thing we have to do. We're going to use cardstock for that. And then we have to decorate it and make it look cute. So those are the two things we got to do. So we're going to do it two different ways. Let me start with the lid because the lid's harder or more complex. Because we are going to wrap this like a present. Okay. All right, so I'm going to tape these together. Hopefully that'll be enough. Well, let me do math. Okay, so when we're trying to figure out how big of our cardstock piece needs to be to wrap this, let me tell you, it's easy. I'm going to flip it over. Okay, you need this measurement plus this measurement times 3, okay? Plus this measurement times 3. So in this case, this is 1.5, so that's 4.5. And then this is 6 1/8. So roughly we need it to be by 10 and 1/8. We can cut off that 1/8. It's not like critical. So we'll just do, I'll probably cut it by 10 just because I'm lazy. And then same with the sides. So this is 9 5/8. Let's just say it's 9.5 to make it easier. Plus 4.5 is 14, right? Yeah. So it's 14 by 10 basically. No. It's 18.5 by 10 because we have to do the 4.5 twice. Same here. It's not 10 and it's 14.5. So it's 18.5 by 14.5. All right, so this is, this is a little bit more annoying. This is a 4-inch piece, so I'm just going to go ahead and tape these together. And I'm going to use, could you wrap a box in Tyvek? Yeah. You could probably wrap a box in Tyvek. I don't see why not. They wrap houses in Tyvek, so it would certainly be strong enough. And if you have a roll of Tyvek, then you could easily get this size piece here. Instead of having to piece it together, which is what we're going to end up having to do here. Which is going to be annoying. All right, so now it's the right, like, width. Yeah, it's the right width. We have to make it the right length. And it doesn't need to be this width all the way up. It just needs to be this width once we get past like an inch. So I don't have to stick like a whole nother elongated piece on it. All right. I just have to put like a 7-inch piece on it. What is this? It's 6 1/8. Yeah, we'll do like 7 1/2. But I need it to be like, what'd I say? 18 1/2. All right, so I'm gonna put I'm gonna cut 7 1/2 by 6, and then we'll just go with that. This is more than we need, but I'm not that worried about it. Okay. So this piece is 7 1/2 inches wide by 6, and I just eyeball centered it on the, try to put your tape on the same side. Okay. I mean, you need tape on both sides, so again, it's not a big deal. If I know this looks complicated, it's just because the lid is so big. It's not complicated, I promise. I promise, I promise. Okay. Now, I could give you measurements. You don't really need them because we're going to do this whole part by feel. So the only measurements you need to know are this piece that goes from the edge of the box to the edge of the paper is 3 times this. Okay? 3 times this. This piece from the edge, from the box to the edge, 3 times this. 3 times this, 3 times this. You get it? Okay? Don't worry. And then the rest of it, we're going to eyeball. So we're going to go by eyeballs and feels. Eyeballs and feels. Feels and reels. How's that? Okay. Now, All right, this is gonna be fun. So the first thing I want to do is find the middle, which is gonna be, since I know this is 7.5, it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3 3/4. So, and again, is this going to be a perfect middle? No. Does it have to be a perfect middle? No. All right. So now I know where this middle is. Again, this is a rough middle. Okay. This one is easy. It's 6 inches. Because this is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. All right, now we know where the middle is. So we're going to glue this to the middle. Okay. I'm going to put tape on this. And this is not as complicated as it looks. I promise. I promise. Okay. Now. Burnish. Peel all of this tape. And then put this in the middle. Okay. As close to the middle as you can. Again, if you don't get the exact middle, it will not be the end of the world. Okay, now. Try to get it straight though. But if you can't get it straight, don't worry about it. What we're going to do now is we're going to start finding where the edge of the box is. Okay? So we want to find our corners of our box. Just going to find the corners of the box. Okay? So, okay. Then once you have found them, you can burnish them a little crisper. And then you can start to stand the sides up a little bit and see where you're going to need tape, because you want tape pretty much all up and down the side. We're going to do one side at a time so that we can work slower And you need tape coming out here. You need an inch. We're going to make tabs with the leftovers from the sides here. So you need the tape to go kind of up. All right. That's good enough for now. Then I can just do 2-inch tape all the way up the size. Then I'll show you how we do this. Okay. So peel some of this enough that we're going to be up above this. So I'm going to peel this too. Okay. Now I'm going to fold it up. Okay. All right, now on the side here, make a cut. Oh, let me here. Make a cut here because we want to create a tab. So just kind of cut down to set this free. All right. So that this is a little bit free, and then from the corner of the box, cut it out so that this part is not attached, and you can wrap it around. Wrap it around, just like this, okay? Now, once that's wrapped around, you can put it up like this, and then from this, we're gonna want to cut straight up. And this side, unfortunately, we don't really have that much to work with for our flap, but we'll figure it out. Where the heck is my ruler? Oh, it's right here. All right, so you're gonna line your ruler up with this edge of the chipboard and cut. On both sides. Or sometimes you have to kind of fold it to get it out of your way. Okay, there we go. All right. Okay. Now, this I didn't cut all the way through to pull it off. We're going to cut right in the corner. So we can fold it in. Okay. That's how our box gets a corner. See? Now our box has a nice clean corner. It's actually not why is this so long? Am I just really bad at math, everyone? Probably. This one you can just trim now, flush. Okay. Well, but ×2 is not enough because it's got to go up, down, and then it still has to be able to glue to the bottom too. So the sides are like 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 2 inches. It would be 4 plus 2 inches. So it would be 8 total, or 4 inches on either side. So, yeah. Okay. So on this side, cut that free. Wrap it around, even though it's kind of tiny, unfortunately. On this side, it's kind of tiny. Then cut it off. That little edge here. And then this is gonna, you know, come up and over. All right, so we just wrap this over. Now, then wrap it around. So you're gonna get it. Oh, I had extra cardstock. Maybe, yes. Because I went off of 12 instead of 9. Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, this is a... Okay. All right, so see how it's reinforcing itself as it wraps around and giving you a nice, strong side? The corners are totally wrapped and secure. That's what we want. So that's what we want. So we're not going to cover the entire inside lid with it, although we have enough that if I hadn't cut it off, we probably could have. We could just pretend that that was my plan. And that I forgot that that was my plan. So when I trim this, I put the ruler against the side of the box and I trim this flush, but I give myself like an 1.5 inches to get up on the side because I want to wrap that corner. Okay, so I don't cut it totally flush. And then here, I will cut it totally flush. On this side, on the long side, okay, because this wraps around like so. See? So almost this comes around, forms the corner, and then this comes up and covers it. Okay? And obviously it doesn't need to be that long. So you can just trim so that it's like, you know, 1.5 inches. It doesn't have to be totally, totally long. And then cover this whole thing with tape. Okay. Yeah. All right, so in order for this to be there. All right. Shorten that up. All right, now burnish all this tape and peel it off, and we'll wrap everything. And I'll tell you about a subreddit I found called Bad Reads. It's where they find 1-star reviews of classics, where the people like hugely missed the point or something like that. So for example, one of the ones I laughed at was this guy who gave Kafka's Metamorphosis 1 star because people don't just wake up and find themselves transformed into insects, at least not in my experience. That's what they said. And I was sorry. I don't know if that person understands what fiction is. Like, I was just like, what? I was like, oh, really? I'm like, do you just give a 1 star to every fiction book where the thing that's happening in the book hasn't happened to you? I mean, I'm just trimming this flush with the edge. I was just like, and then for Picture of Dorian Gray, the guy wrote, maybe if this book had had some kind of point about how you can't just do what you want your whole life and get away with it, then I would have liked it. But as it was so unrealistic, and I was like, that's the point of the book. That's the whole point of the book. Like, it's like writing a review that was like, if only the point of this book was what the point of this book was, I would have liked it. That's the point. Like, it's literally the point of the Picture of Dorian Gray. Is that you can't just do what you want your whole life and get away with it with no consequences. Oh, man. So, Where is this subreddit? Just search r/bad reads, Mary, and you'll find it. Just Google r/bad reads and you'll find it. Mary's like, I have to go fight with these people. It's so funny. It's so funny. Oh man. But the picture of Dorian Gray one killed me. The picture of Dorian Gray one killed me. Especially because that's the point of Dorian Gray. Like the point that this person wanted Dorian Gray to make is what is the point the book makes. That's the point of the book. It was too subtle. Oh my gosh. I honestly don't think the picture of Dorian Gray is that subtle, but maybe that's me. I mean, I think it's one of the more accessible the more accessible classics, but I just was dying. You have to go check it out. Maybe he quit before he got to the attic. Yeah, maybe. Maybe he did. Maybe he was like, ugh, this guy's just a jerk and he never faces any consequences, and he quit with like 20 pages left in the book. All right, so sometimes you might run into where it wants to bunch up in a corner. This cardstock is 80, I believe. So when it wants to do that, I just make a slit in it so that I can put, press it down in two separate pieces. And because more than anything, I just want it to be nice and flat. Okay. All right, and now that we've got those short sides done, the long sides are easy because it's just up and over, okay? So we'll just cover these in tape. Oh, man. But yeah, people don't just turn in giant bugs. 1 star. For Kafka's Metamorphosis. Someone gave Anna Karenina 1 star for too much farming, which that's fair. I mean, I'll give you, there's a lot of farming in Anna Karenina. In Tolstoy in general, he's very into farming. Am I reading all 3 books this month? Well, I'm not going to read them this month, but I plan to read all of them. But I don't think I'm going to read them all this month. But I read I've read some good stuff this month. I just finished last night An Excess Mail, which is about, it's like a near future speculative fiction about the potential societal consequences and cultural consequences of China's excess male population. So they have like 30 or 40 million more men than they would be normal or should have, or something like that. And there's also a stigma against being unmarried culturally. So they have a lot of kind of like cultural things that are going to collide sort of like by 2030, I think. And so it kind of explores potential ways that could go. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't know what their current plans are. But part of the problem in the book is that they limited immigration, which I don't think they will in real life. I think that's probably going to be how they solve their problem. But that was just, it was just kind of interesting to explore. He probably thought it was nice when he read Cask of Amontillado, that it was so nice of his friend to wall him up in the basement with all the wine. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I know, Candy. Who could have predicted this problem? So, but yeah, in it, it's a real actual problem that they're going to have to deal with. This is a speculative fiction version of that problem. So, you know, it's not how they're actually dealing with it. I know one of the ways they're dealing with it is they don't have a one-child policy anymore. So, you know, that'll help, but they're behind a couple generations. So they're still going to have to face this problem and get through it. But like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if they get through it through immigration. So, but in the book, there's no immigration for some reason, probably because that is a solution that would probably work. Okay. Last one. Yes. Right, and that's because they don't save for retirement. That's not a cultural thing. So you instead are supported by your son. And so you need a son. And, you know, the Communist Party didn't address that quickly enough or something like that. So it's still a cultural need. So yeah, it's really a significant problem. And, like it's gonna, I think 2030 is the year that's kind of given for when it's probably gonna be something that has to be addressed, like now. So, but yeah, it was interesting. It got a little thrillery at the end, and, I don't know that was necessary, but yeah, it was, you know, they're not the only country facing this problem, and they're not the only country facing potential population problems. Pretty much the world over, there are scientists who think we're going to have all kinds of population problems cropping up all over the place, that it's not just like, you know, China with this boy problem, too many boys. We just need to perfect clones. That's it. That's the answer. Okay. Lid's done. Yay. I have to get this tape peeled off that's left over from my from sticking everything together. That's okay. But yeah, it's a whole, it's just totally wrapped now. We're all good. Whoa, I don't know. Oh yeah, Humans was a good show. I didn't get all the way through it. I'm not super great at finishing shows unless I'm like, okay, I'm only watching whatever show until it's done. And then I'll finish it. But if I'm like, okay, I'm going to watch a few episodes of Humans and then I watch something else another night, then I don't go back. So I guess I've just been like, Netflix has trained me to marathon shows. Now I don't know how to watch shows otherwise. But yeah, it's definitely on my to-do list to read The Art of Fielding at the very least. Because I have to see how Moby Dick and baseball come together. Ooh, my nail is bleeding from when I stabbed myself with the paper. My goodness. Oh yeah, that's definitely partially why I don't watch network TV. The other reason is that I can't stand commercials anymore. So, but yeah, if I have to wait a week to find out how something is going to wrap up, I will never know. I will never know how it wraps up. Why don't you just come off and be nice? This month I didn't have a strong preference. I was most curious about The Art of Fielding and least curious about Jane Steele, but I thought all the books sounded interesting. So this month I didn't really have one that I was like, please don't pick this. There wasn't one where I was thinking that this month. Like there have been other months where I was like, why did I pick this? Why is this even on the list? Really have no one to blame but myself. I mean, I just like off the top of my head, I'm thinking maybe it's a pennant, like the whale's a pennant, you know, a particular, we've never won the whatever. And next week is book club, right? Yeah, next week is book club. So if you want to read Aisha at Last before the discussion, we'll be discussing it on Thursday. Oh my gosh, why is this stuck down so well? Oh, technically I can blame past Kathryn. This won't come off. This is so annoying. I should have only put my tape on one side, but I was thinking that the pattern paper would cover it, but now the main character from with Pride and Prejudice retellings, that plot is so well known that it's kind of like it's hard for there to be surprises. I mean, the biggest surprise in a Pride and Prejudice retelling would be that they don't get together at the end. That being said, I read a Pride and Prejudice retelling already this year that was horrible. So, and I wanted every single person in the book to die miserable and alone, pretty much. So I didn't want anyone to be happy. I'm not worried about tearing some of the paper off because I can cover it with my pattern paper as long as it's not right on the edge. But now we have to talk about books with cats on the covers. I've made a discovery about books with cats on the covers. There are a lot of classics and modern classics that have cats on the covers, but they're almost all from Japan. For some reason, books with cats on the covers that fall into like two groups: cozy mysteries, where cats are solving mysteries or some such, and Japanese modern classics. So yeah, there's a real thing. I mean, the theme could literally be Japanese modern classics with cats on the covers. That's how many there are. Whew. All right, we got 3 sides done. One side left. But I can also do it with a book from 3 different countries. Because I do have a way to do it where we have a Russian book, a Canadian book, and a Japanese book. So you guys can choose. Think about it. Do you want to definitely read a Japanese modern classic that has a cat on the cover? Or do you want to read a modern classic, an international classic that has a cat on the cover? Because surprising amount of books with cats on the covers that are not mysteries. And then there's a lot of Stephen King books with cats on the covers, but I didn't pick any of those because I didn't think horror was necessarily going to be the right genre for this particular book club. But Stephen King also seems to be very into cats. I mean, I think cats are lucky in Japan. Maybe. But maybe they're just much more popular as a pet there than, like, say, they are here. Yeah, see, I didn't think horror was the way to go, so we're not going to add Stephen King's cat books. Ugh, just come off, tape. Why are you such a jerk? But, like, Haruki Murakami has a book with a cat. There's also a book called What If Cats Disappeared from the Earth, which is very similar to a book I read this year called The Memory Police, which is also Japanese. But there's also Master and Margarita. But yeah, we're going to stretch our brains in October. We're going to stretch our brains. We're going to gotta keep exercising our brains so that in December we can read War and Peace. Just knock that one out. Some nice light reading for Christmas. Ugh, I'm never getting this tape off. Never. Tolstoy's a good writer. I'm sure War and Peace is actually good. I think probably the biggest problem with War and Peace, off the top of my head, not having read it, because I haven't read it, would be that Tolstoy likes to go on, he goes on a lot of tangents when he's writing. And that was that was not totally uncommon for the time that he was writing in. People went on tangents, but he's already wordy and his plots take a long time. So just like the person who was complaining about how they're trying to read Anna Karenina and Tolstoy's on a 100-page rant about agriculture, like, he does do stuff like that in his writing. And he's not the only one. Like, Victor Hugo does this too. He's French, so it's not like it's just like a Russian thing or a Tolstoy thing. I think it was, on the times, what was popular. But it's just such a long book. I would not choose War and Peace for book club. But it's not, I'm sure it's not a bad book. I'm sure it's just overwhelming. Okay. We made it. I got all the gunk off this. So now it's ready to go on our book. When we or on our box. We have e-readers now, so we don't have to lug around the monster books. Yeah, well, I kind of want to read, before the end of the year, I want to read Shadow Country by Peter Matheson. I don't know Swedish names. But that, I mean, that book's like 1,000 pages. But yeah, because of e-readers, you don't have to carry a 1,000-page book around with you wherever you go. Okay, so I have a little bit of peeling from using the undo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my clothespins. We're going to fix any areas like that. With some glue. But my War and Peace is on my mom's list of books that she just couldn't she couldn't get through it. She said, I tried and I tried for years and years, but he just would put me right to sleep anytime I picked the book up. What'd you bring me? Oh, pens. Okay. So I'm gonna, oh, and now this side is trying to come up. All right, fine. Be this way. So there we go. Those are the two sides that are causing me problems. This one doesn't seem to be popping up. So I'm gonna just put the clips on it so that it doesn't get the idea to pop up, but I'm not gonna add any glue. I did use black cardstock for covering the box. Yes. Because the paper that we chose for the box is black and white. Or, well, it's black and cream. So, that's why I went with the black. Okay. So, Mr. Lifeguard brought me some pens. They're supposed to be the best pens for writing notes ever. Let's find out, team. Okay. This is the best pen for writing notes. Wow. I mean, that's pretty good. You have such beautiful handwriting. I'm kind of mad right now. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is a gel pen. That's how fast it dried. Retractable gel roller pen. My handwriting starts off great and then ends up really unreadable. I mean, this is when I'm writing fast. So, I mean, I don't normally write that fast. This is the pen that I like. This is a Rollerball, the Pilot Precise V5 extra fine. This is what I normally use. So, what I would say the difference is, and this is going to be a personal preference, I think, is what kind of ink flow you like and what kind of ink you like. So this is not a gel ink pen. And so I feel like the flow is smoother from this pen than this pen. But this is the smoothest gel ink pen I ever used, I think. So if you like, I'm trying to see if I have another gel. See, this one's smeared. This one, because that's what I don't use gel a lot because of the smearing, which this one just smeared. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it on the eyes, how the eyes are smeared, and maybe it's a little hazy where it says this is also gel. So many gel pens start off good and then dry out. Yeah, well, this one had that little ball on the end, you know, to keep it from drying out. This is what my handwriting looks like if I'm just like if I just want to go as fast as I can. It's like a weird mix of cursive and print. It's funny because you can see how if I'm printing, I slant more towards the left, and if I'm cursiving, I slant more towards the right. And that if I write faster in cursive, which this one is, it slants even more. And this is just back and forth all over the place. I wish I had really neat writing like this that was also fast. I have pretty neat cursive and printing because one of my parents is a printer and one of them is a cursive writer. But I often write in this hybrid right here. This kind of hybrid printing, like my brain will just kind of reach for whatever feels fastest. I think it mostly looks like cursive. But to me, I can see this is printed, this is printed, this is printed. But I think it kind of looks like cursive. But like it is this weird little hybrid. That's spelled wrong. And I don't like it if I have to write off the notebook. Like on two different levels. It's cursing. This is a really good gel pen if you like gel pens. I approve. I approve of this gel pen. I like roller balls. That's what I like for pens. I've always liked roller balls. I wrote with a fountain pen like way back in the day. That takes some getting used to, but it's nice. Gretchen says I write in a really fancy print. Anyway, this is the, well, you saw the box. You can back it up if you want to try one for yourself. This notebook I got because you probably can't see it because it's so faint, but it's a square dot matrix. And so I thought it would be good for planning albums, like give me a little bit of room, and then because it's a spiral, it can lay flatter than the other notebooks that I use. You know, whatever. Every time I write, it's always a different notebook. It's always a different notebook, whatever I'm doing. So, I don't know what my deal is, but as far as gel pens go, that one dries faster than any other gel pen I've ever used. So if you're looking for a fast drying gel pen that's not going to get all smeary, check out the Pentel Energel X in the 0.5 ball needle tip. Yeah. But I really, really like, don't ever tear out that page. Oops. What do? Do I stick it back in? I already tore it out. Gretchen, you need to have been faster. Gretchen writes in a really fancy print. She designed her own font in high school one day when she was bored in history class. And her grandmother always complained to her mother that she couldn't read Gretchen's fancy writing. How funny. My grandmother's writing is horrendous. She wrote like JFK. And so she made my mom and her brother learn cursive to write really well. So my mom had really nice cursive and she passed it down. All right, we're just chit-chatting. I'm going to go. I'll be back tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time. We'll wrap the box in cardstock. It's going to go a little bit differently. We'll have to create a new book to put it in. We'll wrap the box tonight. So So the next video in the series will be wrapping the box in cardstock, and then we'll decorate them with pattern paper, and then that'll be it. And next week we'll be back to school. So back to school. So thanks so much for watching. Have a wonderful evening. If you're overseas, if you're headed to bed, have a great dinner. Have a great weekend. I'll catch you later. Everyone else, I'll see you tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern USA time, which is roughly 4.5 hours from now, and we'll finish this project. All right. Bye now.